It's Jennifer DeCastro doing another video, hanging out with you and talking a little bit. So what's on my mind today, you might ask? Aren't you excited to hear? So what's on my mind today is becoming an accidental activist. What does that mean? My daughter, Kelsey, is a sophomore at college right now, and she's studying psychology. And she had to do a study on special needs kids because she wants to be a special needs pediatric counselor. So she did this study and found out she was talking about discrimination and was looking at Iceland. And her study showed that Iceland aborts their special needs babies or kills them. It rocked her world. She was devastated. She was crying. She called home. Mom, what can we do? Can you call somebody? What can we do? She became an accidental activist immediately. She's very aware of discrimination, and she pursued more knowledge on that. And someday I will not be surprised if I see Kelsey on national television talking about saving these babies that have special needs in Iceland. So myself, I have been in ministry my whole life. I have preached, I've done missions, I've been a youth pastor, I've been an associate pastor, I worked in sports and outreach, I have worked with women's ministry, I've led small Bible studies, I've preached to conferences in Africa, I've done pastoral training. This isn't about me giving you my resume. This is about me talking about a gift and a calling that I felt like I had as a young girl. Matter of fact, I was about 6 years old and we were in Oregon and the church was having a foot washing and about missions and talking about sacrifices and said, who will help these children? And I guess at 6 years old, I turned to my mom and said, how come not everybody's helping? And she said, well, some people just don't. And I said, someday I'm going to help those kids. Then when I was 12 years old, I have what you call a Damascus experience when you're called to ministry. I felt like God said I needed to be a missionary. Go ye. So I just said, okay, if you open doors, I'll go. I was a church rat, meaning I would clean toilets, I would work in the nursery, I would do greeting, I would do the offering message, I would preach, I would do whatever was needed in the church because I felt like that's what a servant does. I just wanted to be a messenger for the Lord. I just loved Him, and that's what I did. So fast forward, as we're continuing to talk about activism, I've always believed women can be in leadership in the church. I never wanted to be a pastor. I never wanted to be on an elder board. So I kind of slid through those gray areas and navigated those. I also was a short-term missionary with a denomination, the Evangelical Covenant denomination, that embraces equality. And so, meaning women can preach, women can be pastors, women can be on your leadership boards. But being raised Baptist and / Assembly of God, therefore non-denominational, I would kind of face opposition periodically of, well, you can't speak on the stage here. Or you need to let your husband speak, but you can prepare the message. Or you could prepare the message, but make sure your husband approves your message and or the pastor needed to see it. That was the most frequent thing, just the pastor needed to see it, which I think is actually good wisdom for any speaker of any gender. So this summer, there was a situation where I was called in and talked to that I was encouraged not to volunteer in this church anymore because I actually speak from a stage. I give spiritual direction to men. So it wasn't a good fit for me to continue to minister in that church. It was hurtful because I felt like God had called me to accomplish some things there, to be His hands and feet. And it was hurtful for our family who had friends there. And it was bold. It was directly in my face, which is usually it's kind of a side conversation. And I felt very rejected, not only for myself, but for what I felt like I've been called to do my whole life. My son said the most encouraging thing in this situation. I said, hey guys, This is what's going on. I may not be able to continue at this church that we've been at for 4.5, 5 years. And he said, you know what, Mom? I don't know all the scriptures, but I do know what you've done in your life, and I've known what some of your friends have done, male and female. I can't imagine if you guys stopped being obedient to what God's called you to do, the impact it would have on others. I've watched men's lives be changed by something you've said. I've watched my life be changed by something somebody said at a conference that was a woman, or being in someone's home and them sharing scriptures with me. He said, I can't imagine taking the women out of the equation. And that was so encouraging to me that he has seen the fruits. He knows the difference that a female can make just by being obedient. I'm going to do another video later on different beliefs on women in ministry. But I just wanted to talk about activism right now, because I've never been one to put it out there and say, hey, this is what I believe, get with it, or disagree with you and say you're an idiot if you don't agree with me. I've never been really aggressive about it. I've never picketed. I've never raised my fist. I've just said, if you don't accept me for that, then I'll just kind of dust the feet off and move on. But in this situation, it activated something in me, almost like when Kelsey started studying the special needs kids in Iceland. All of a sudden I went, oh no, I can leave this church, but this is going to make me raise that fist. This is going to make me even stronger on my beliefs. It's going to be even stronger to activate women and say, do not step back because of your gender. It's going to make me stronger on saying, men, why wouldn't you want the women in your life to step forward in everything you have? I don't believe it's just men who should lead. I don't believe it's just women who should lead. I believe you should do it together. That when the rib was taken out of Adam, it was from his side, and the side is where the woman is supposed to be. That you're not like one in front of the other. Sometimes you need to move and have each other's back, and you are back to back fighting the fight. But you are side by side equally gifted. Now, Rudell, my husband, is about as opposite of me as you can get. He's amazing. I'm an extrovert. He's an introvert. He's brown-skinned. I'm white-skinned. I am very loud and opinionated. He's very tactful and sweet. We balance each other so well. Do we not want that balance in the church? Do we not want mom and dad? If you have a household with a single parent, it is harder. If you have you together, then your gifts complement each other, and it's an amazing thing. So, why am I doing this video? Because I want to encourage you to find out what makes you passionate. Unfortunately for me, I had to be put in a hard situation that hurt me and hurt others for me to activate. What do you need to do to be activated? Because I want you to avoid that pain that I've avoided. What are you passionate about that you're kind of sitting back on and saying, you know what, it really doesn't affect me or others. But in actuality, it does. It takes boldness to put it out there. People are going to disagree. But can you be bold? I think you can.